you've taken a fantastic array of investments in different markets around Africa. How did you manage the whole question of basically exit risk and the market impact of basically what we're doing here is obviously trying to drive a lot of particularly US institutional investors to invest into African markets. How do you, when you were looking at taking exposures, first of all, how did you evaluate the exit risk? And second of all, if there were another 100 of you, how much do you think the African markets that you're invested in would be able to absorb that safely, if that makes sense?
So how we viewed the risk on exit was with the managers themselves, that they were larger managers that have had a number of deals in a long track record that made them more comfortable. And that kind of alleviated some of the concern there. These are US denominated funds. So we really didn't have an issue around exit. Actis had 17 PE funds, 6 in real estate, 7 infrastructure. So they had a long track record of doing deals, getting exits, having great returns. And that makes more comfortable like we would any other fund. So I think that's kind of how you get comfortable, is that you do your same process you would do with any US investor that you would do with an African investor. So I think that's how we got comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if I could add to that, Barnaby, I mean, it's also a leadership mindset. Africa is, from where I sit, maybe wrong, it's the long play as well. You just don't look for immediate results. And that's the tendency around, I think, these new platforms around ESG and what I call sustainability investments, that people are looking for immediate return. I think as it comes to the continent, leadership needs to take a long game mindset, and they should use services that exist out there, whether it's Moody's or Fitch or others, who have data and information and models that give you a risk assessment on what that long-term gain is going to yield. Because it's to get in and out. I don't think, and Solo can maybe dispute this or not, but to me, it's the mindset of taking the long game play to make sure that I stay the course, that I'm not just in and out expecting miracles to happen, and then create an additional narrative that is not worth the effort. That is not true.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, that we're long-term investors, and really, how do you think about your portfolio? The risk there to the total portfolio investing in Africa is just not there. If we invest in an African fund and we got near zero or negative dollars, that wouldn't have really overall impact on the portfolio. But on the flip side of that, from Bird's point of view, about 88% of our portfolio is in Europe and North America. To me, that's a risk. And so investing in Africa to help diversify that. So there's plenty of ways to look at this. And I think this opportunity. It's not just risk. There's risk to your portfolio in other ways, not just investing in Africa.
Yeah, and if I can also add, a very good example is the telco industry. Some 25 years ago, there were hardly any cell phones on the continent, and we had very, very few landlines. Now, if someone was investing, looking at the short term, he probably would have come in, gone out, and not made any opportunity. But today, if you had come in at that time, you'd be invested in the second largest telco industry on the continent.
Yeah, we would.
In the world. Yeah,
in the world. Absolutely.
In the world.
Sorry, in the world. Thank you.
That's what he meant.
Yeah, I think for me that one of the key points in all of this is that the infrastructure exists, as it does everywhere else in the world, to be able to support. You have an intermediated structure where you have fund managers who are able to manage entries and exits in a smooth way. As you said, Daniel, you have the information providers. There's nothing exceptional about this. It's just we have to use the investment processes that we use anywhere else in the world. And those are the people that have the specialism to be able to provide our ability to price risk and so on and so forth. So thank you for that.